Raider Nation, I need your help. Help grow the show. Let's get the Raiders Report to 72,000 subscribers. I'm really trying to get there by next live show. So if you haven't already, hit the big red button that says subscribe. It's right underneath the video right here. Even though it's the off season, daily videos, 100% free. We've already crossed 1,000 videos on this channel. Raider Nation is a family. Let's help grow this bad boy. Hit the big red button that says subscribe. No matter the location, from OAKLA to LV, I'm a Raider. Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report. On today's show, I'm going to be breaking down some potential cap cuts for this team. Right now, the Raiders have minus $7.6 million. That number is according to OverTheCap. Now, that's the 23rd most in the National Football League. Obviously, if you want to make some changes to your defense and even on offense, you're going to have to move on from some guys. That's okay, because I'm telling you right now, the Raiders, they have a lot of opportunity to move on from some pretty hefty contracts. So the way that I did this was this. I ordered the 8 players that you're about to see on the show from their most cap hit to the least amount of cap hit. So stay with me, and I want you guys to be interactive. That's going to be a really important thing on today's show. The first player that I'm going to bring up here in Raiders' potential cap cuts, it's Trent Brown. When he's on the field, he's one of the best right tackles in the league. I get that. But $14 million, that's what you're going to have to pay him. If you cut him, you can save $14 million. That's a lot of money, y'all. 2020, 5 games played, and didn't allow a sack. So what you're going to see for every single player that I bring up, I am going to ask you, should the Raiders keep him or should the Raiders cut him? And yes, you're going to see C and you're going to see K. So if you want them to cut Trent Brown, type CTB. If you want the Raiders to keep Trent Brown, I want you to type KTB. For me, I am going to cut Trent Brown. He missed 16 games the past 2 seasons. When I look at how much money he made this past year, think about this. This dude made $76,241 per snap. Per snap! That's insane to me. He has never shown an interest that he's wanted to be a Raider. We all know that. Is he a great player? Yes, he absolutely is. However, if you don't want to be a part of the team, even when you're on the field, you're sitting there pouting. After a huge Week 2 victory over the Saints, he was the only player who wasn't locking arms with his team. It wasn't good. Plus, he got fat, y'all. I'm sorry. He gained a lot of weight. This is Trent Brown with the New England Patriots before he signed his big Raiders contract. You want to see what $21.5 million will do to you? It's this. No offense to Trent. I'm sorry. He got lazy. He got complacent. And he didn't put in the work. That's why you see him all the time struggling to stay healthy. That's why, I'm sorry, after the whole issue that he had with the IV, that's why he wasn't also able to get back onto the football field. Trent Brown got too big to be able to stay healthy. I want a guy who wants to be on the field. Trent Brown has shown me he doesn't want to be on the field, so save the $14 million. Let's go to the next player here, Tyrell Williams. I interviewed Tyrell. He's a player that I have great amount of respect for. A UDFA who works his freaking tail off. It's just, well, you guys will see, he just can't quite stay healthy. So in 2021, if you're going to end up paying him, it's going to be $11.6 million. Or cut him and save $11.6. So should the Raiders cut or keep Tyrell Williams? If you want them to cut Tyrell, everyone on YouTube, type CTW for cut. Or if you want them to keep him, type KTW. Much as I love you, Tyrell, nothing against you that you know that this is a business as well as I do. I'm going to cut Tyrell. He missed the entire 2020 season with the torn labrum. In 2019, he was battling the foot injuries, and even when you go back to his time with the Chargers, dealt with a lot of injuries as well. Plus, there's talent in the draft class with some of these young, talented receivers, but also in free agency. Save the $11 million, and if you don't want to go out and sign a big-name guy, sure, bring back a player like Nelson Agholor. But between you and me, Chris Godwin, Allen Robinson, and there's a lot of very talented defensive players. Use this money and invest it there. Let's go to the next player here, Marcus Mariota. His 2021 cap hit, $10.1 million. If cut, you save $10.1 million. And I know that one game, man, we saw, he was fun. He was electric. 226 yards, 9 carries, 88 yards, and a rushing touchdown. We all want that mobile quarterback. I know deep down we really, truly do. However, Derek Carr, he is going to be the future of this team, at least for the next 2 years. So should the Raiders cut or keep Mariota? This was the one that I was really excited to see what you guys had to say on this. So type CMM or type KMM down in the comment section below. I am going to cut Marcus Mariota. So far, we're 3 for 3 in terms of cuts. It's just too much money to pay a backup quarterback. And the Raiders do not trust Mariota to pick up first downs. They don't trust him in goal-to-go situations. I get asked all the time, should they use him like Taysom Hill? No, he's not quite a Taysom Hill quarterback. But if you're going to pay a quarterback $10.1 million, he at least should get a few snaps on the field just to mix it up a little bit. He struggled to stay healthy. Even in the offseason, he struggled to pick up the playbook. I will say this, though. If Mariota is willing to restructure his contract, come back for like $4 million, I would take him back in a heartbeat. He's only 27 years old. He was really fun and entertaining in Week 15. I know he pushed Derek Carr to be better. And I would honestly be curious to see if Mariota would be better with OTAs, with training camp, with preseason games. So, Marcus, if you want to stay on the team, restructure your contract. Now, hopefully I don't got to restructure my contract here at Chat Sports because without them, this video wouldn't be possible. So, if you guys could, don't only just follow me on Instagram at Mitchell Renz 365, also show Chat Sports a little bit of love. Hit them up on IG as well at Chat Sports. Now, I love my job here very much, and I love being able to interact with y'all. It's why I truly enjoy coming into work every single day. If you want to get to know me a little bit better, if you want more Raiders news updates on IG, I got you covered. Give me a follow at Mitchell Renz 365. Let's go to the next player here. It's Gabe Jackson. Gabe making $9.6 million. If you cut him, you save $9.6 million. No sacks allowed, 16 games played this year. Should the Raiders keep or cut my man Gabe Jackson? Earlier in the year, even last year, I said that the Raiders should cut Gabe Jackson. That's what I said last year. But this year, I'm going to go with a little bit of a different tone here. You should keep Gabe Jackson. He is a great leader on and off the field. And when you go back and look at a lot of the Raiders draft picks through the years, this is one of the best ones since 2014, and that's not really, maybe not saying much, but this is a player that the Raiders definitely should keep. He's an average guard at this point in his career, rated as the 42nd out of like 88 guards in the National Football League. And the Raiders can't cut 3 starting linemen. If you're wondering 3, well, you're going to have to wait to see here in a little bit. But yes, keep Gabe Jackson. Keep him there as your right guard because when he's on the field and when he's healthy, he is still a very good guard. The next player I'm going to bring up here is Lamarcus Joyner. You can either A, pay Joyner $11.2 million, or you can move on from Lamarcus Joyner and save $8.7 million. Sure, you do have to eat $2.5 million of cap, but maybe you're willing to do that after seeing the performance that Joyner has given the Raiders over the last 2 seasons. When the Raiders went out and signed him to a 4-year contract, it was about $40 million. He was supposed to come in and be this like Swiss Army knife type of guy that can play safety, that can play all these different types of nickel positions, and it just hasn't worked out. But the Raiders still need a lot of help in that secondary, and hopefully with the new DC, he can be a little bit better. So should the Raiders cut or keep Lamarcus Joyner, type CLJ for cut, or go down in the comments and type KLJ for keep. Even though that I'm hoping that he can play a little bit better, this is one of those where I don't know where the Raiders are going to go. I'm going to be honest. If they keep him and he plays better, I'll say, okay, it's because of Gus Bradley. But if you're wanting my reaction right now, what the Raiders should do, cut ties, move on from him. He's been one of the worst defenders in the NFL the past 2 seasons. Plus, the Raiders just don't use him correctly. Now, if they want to use him as more as a safety, like the Rams did where he was great, maybe I'll change my mind. But if their idea is to still just keep him using him in this nickel corner style, get rid of him. He's not good at it. Plus, I want to see Amik Robertson on the field a little bit more. It would blow my mind in Week 17 that he was inactive in a game that realistically meant absolutely nothing. Why not see what you have in a young rookie out of Louisiana Tech that had so much hype coming in? That's why that I'm going to honestly move on from Lamarcus Joyner, and I'm going to save $8.7 million. Next player coming up here is Richie Incognito. Cap hit, $6.3 million. If you cut him, you can save his entire contract. And when the Raiders decided to give him a extension, 2 years was like $14 million. It was, I don't remember if it was at the end of December last year or right in the beginning of January. I was excited because Richie Incognito is a tough mother effer who really helps out our running attack. And one of the biggest reasons why Josh Jacobs went from having 4.8 yards per carry to 3.9 is because Incognito was out on the field. Like, he opened up so much in the running game. But he played only 2 games this year, so you know what I'm going to ask you. It's the theme of the show. Raiders Report is about the interaction that you and I create. Obviously, I'm on the show, and I can give my opinion, but I don't make this show just for my opinion. I honestly go in the comments. I always see what you guys are trying to do. So should the Raiders cut or keep Richie Incognito? Type CRI for cut. Type KRI for keep. If Richie Incognito is 100% healthy, I'll change my answer, and I'll say you keep him, you put him out there on the football field. However, I'm taking this as a reaction right now from what I know, but after a 38-year-old man basically missed 14 games due to an Achilles injury, I don't have a lot of confidence that he is going to be able to come back and ever be what he was. If he is healthy, and I'm 100% wrong, I will keep Richie Incognito for the $6.35 million. I'm telling you that right now. But the Raiders drafted John Simpson in the 4th round out of Clemson, 109 overall this past draft. He sort of got a little bit of a tryout over the last few weeks once Denzel Good went down with an injury. Well, obviously, Incognito was out as well. They have a lot of confidence in Simpson. So for them having the confidence in Simpson and for them not knowing what the future holds for Richie Incognito, cut him, save $6.35 million. Now, if you guys want daily videos around the Las Vegas Raiders the entire offseason, hit that big red button that says subscribe. Can't find the subscribe button? Guess what? On every single video in the description, I put a link that says subscribe to the Raiders Report. If you are already subbed, let's continue to grow this bad boy. Let's get to 72,000 subs by next week's live show. So how do you do that? Take the link that you see below, youtube.com/Raiders Report. Send it to a friend. Send it to a family member. Send it to some random person that you see wearing a Raiders shirt. That's what it's all about here. Help me out. Let's grow the show. We're continue to talk about trades, free agency, news, rumors, and oh yeah, some cap cuts. Next player here, Jalen Richard. $3.5 million is going to be his contract. If you cut him, you save $3.5 million. In 2020, the dude had 22 carries, 123 yards, and a touchdown on the ground. This is in 13 games. Also, 19 catches and 138 yards. The reason why this one was really tough for me is because he's a special teams player, a solid punt returner, solid kick returner when he's asked to. And 2 years ago, he led the team with 68 catches, tied with Jared Cook. We know that he's a great pass-blocking running back, and we know that he can catch the football. The issue is here, do you want to pay a running back $3.5 million who isn't your starter and who is really only touching the ball about 40 times for the entire season? So should the Raiders cut or keep Jalen Richard? Type CJR for cut or type KJR for keep. Richard, no offense, my man. I've talked to some of your agents before, and I know you're a man who likes tequila, and I know you've invited me to a few gatherings. Obviously, COVID got in the way of that. But I'm going to move on from you. No hard feelings here. It's just too much money for a third-string running back. And when I look at the Raiders' running back situation, you have Josh Jacobs. He's your number one. He's your workhorse. Devontae Booker flat-out beat Jalen Richard this year. And with him being a free agent, look for the Raiders to make Devontae Booker the higher priority. If you have $3.5 million, let's say, to spend on your RB2, and it's between Jalen Richard and it's between Devontae Booker, you're going to give the money to Booker because he was better between the tackles. He was a great running back being able to catch the football, and he was more of that reliable RB2 behind Josh. So Jalen, no hard feelings, man. Plus, if the Raiders want to draft a late-round running back, I'm not saying somebody in the top. Honestly, if you're going to draft a running back for the Raiders, it should be a day 3 guy, so around 5, 6, 7. But bring back Booker. You have Josh Jacobs. Move on from Richard. The last potential cap cut here out of the 8, it's Jeff Heath. You can either pay him $3.15 million or you can save $3.15 million. In 2020, he had 37 tackles, 3 interceptions, and 4 pass breakups. Unfortunately, was unable to finish the season because he had a wicked concussion, and that could really impact a lot of people's decision on whether or not they decide to cut or keep him. So I'm going to do this one more time on today's show, and I appreciate everyone who's been participating, whether you're watching this live or whether you watch this on Wednesday or whatever day you watch it throughout the week. So do you keep or cut Jeff Heath? Type CJH for cut or type KJH for keep. I'm going to end up keeping Jeff Heath. So I cut 6 guys. I kept 2. He led the Raiders with 3 interceptions this year, and he's currently the best cover safety on the team. I hope that doesn't stay like that. I hope the Raiders go out and find somebody in the draft. Hopefully they go out and sign a top guy in free agency, maybe even two. Not only is he a good safety, he's a great special teams player. He's also a potential captain on this defense. Like, I don't know if Eric Harris is coming back. He's already moved out of Las Vegas. Jeff Heath could be that Eric Harris type of style guy. Plus, in Gus Bradley's cover 3, you need 3 safeties that are able to cover deep and that won't get beat deep. Jeff Heath, if he is your least viable safety in that, that's a pretty solid dude. Now, maybe you go out and draft somebody. Maybe you go out and sign somebody. But I'm going to end up keeping Jeff Heath. So if you cut all 8 players, the reason why I made this show is because I have so many people asking me, Mitch, what are the Raiders going to do in free agency? Who can we get? We have minus $7.6 million. You can maneuver around it. When you have all these contracts especially, you can clear up space. So I wanted to show you all how honestly realistic and how easily it would be for the Raiders to move around. So if you cut all 8 of those players, you save $67.1 million. That's a lot of money, especially on 8 guys. But if you cut the 6 players that I mentioned, you save 54.3. That's the style that I would go. That's the route I would go for the Raiders. So watch this math here. 54.3 minus 7.6 million equals $46.7 million. So if John Gruden and if Mike Mayock watch this video, you move on from those 6 guys. Are they talented? Yes. But at the end of the day, I looked at the positives, the negatives, I weighed it all out, and this is the route I would go. You're at $46.7 million. That puts you right now in the top 5 in the NFL. Obviously, other teams are going to do the same thing. But right now with the cap situation going to go down from 193 past year to 175 being the cap ceiling, look for a lot of teams to cut a few extra players that they might not normally cut.